So, getting on into it, spawning in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Ago, it is the Polish Elazer.
Top left-hand side, it is the German Lambo.
I gotta say something, Cats.
Do it.
Lambo is playing from a cave or something. What the hell? Like, that cannot be good for you.
Yeah, I think that's what he did last time. I'm not sure if it's good or bad for you, but that's what he did last time as well. And towards the end, he turned on the light to salute the camera after he won. I think one cool thing to do, though, Ben, as a player, is if you can find a way to get into a tournament mindset, right? And sort of rituals around it, like something as simple as turning off the lights, can serve as a reminder, perhaps. But if he wins, maybe we can ask him.
Maybe. Oh, look at this. In Lambo Elazer fashion, they've both gone, like, these are the only two players that will ever do this, but now we have pure mirror going on, boys and girls, the scouting pools. I agree with you. Finding something that you're comfortable with, but if what you're comfortable with is, turning the lights off, and people will get more used to what you, like, mainly practice in, right? Hoping that events turn off all the lights and stuff so you play in the dark. I mean, that's something that's probably not going to happen too much.
Yeah, I mean, it works for now, though. And, for me, I turn the music off. Rainer, he plays Italian rap, it seems. Right? Like, so yeah. Everyone has their thing, and this seems to be Lambo's thing. But again, we could ask him. It is really cool. These pools also, Ben, by the way, are really good if your opponent was to go for a 12-pool drone pool, which was popular on this map for a little while. Then you can try and wall off the top of the ramp, though. It's not always successful. I'm sure both of these players are very confident in that response.
Just talking about, like, people practicing in their own conditions. I remember there was back when I played Warcraft 3, there was like a Russian player that was. I found it really funny. He was playing with sunglasses on, and it was in a dark room on LAN. And I was like, what? Why are you playing with sunglasses? And apparently, like, his whole summer practice, it was, like, way too bright in his room and he had glare, so he had to play with sunglasses on. And then he got so used to playing with them that he couldn't play without them. So I totally understand about those kind of things. Ooh, so like, we already see a bit of a deviation in their build. So Elazer's going for 2 base thus far and a very early Evo. Lambo going for a fast 3rd base and also a very fast lair with this too. So what do you see from both of these builds from both these players, Cats?
It looks as though as if Lambo is setting up for maybe something like Muta or just a later timing, whereas Elazer is likely to go for an all-in with this +1 upgrading on the roaches, though. It's a little bit strange because he's already made so many links. Okay, there it is. It was a fake. So yeah, Elazer is gonna go all in, goes out with the roaches. It's gonna be a difficult attack perhaps for Lambo to stop. The links are gonna be the first wave that Lambo doesn't have anything to defend this third. This third is gonna have to be cancelled then.
Wait, but the big important thing here, Lambo hasn't been able to scout this at all.
Oh, like, man.
Like, he has no idea. He's still droning up like a madman.
Oh, okay. Manages to plug the hole with the queens, and now he's gonna have to use some drones to secure his natural base, but this is a perfect position for Elazer to go. I think his plan has worked. This man is a planner. This is his plan. Now he's gonna take down the third. Lambo has to over-defend just to keep his natural alive, and that's what Elazer is using to get his catch-up on tech fronts and ahead in economical fronts as far as he manages to get his third. And there's no reason for why he shouldn't. Lambo can't really move out to punish this.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know if this was planned by Elazer. If it was beautiful. As those lings ran away from the natural, Lambo's lings from scouting, he then moved directly up, as if he knew that there was not going to be an overlord there from Lambo. So we did talk about how Elazer's the guy that he'll study a lot, and he'll look for how to kill your opponent, how to take advantage, find the weaknesses in his opponent's build. And that looked exactly what he did there. By the way, Spire on the way for Lambo here. I mean, this is already a bit of a crazy ZVZ between these guys.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Spire for Lambo. I mean, and this is kind of the the epitome of what we were talking about. I think these players, especially Lambo, is much more adaptive, and we're seeing that adaptation here with the Spire, because with that Spire, yeah, he doesn't have a third, but at least he's going to gain back map control, and at least he's going to keep up a tech lead of sorts. With that said, Elazer already getting Burrow, and okay, he's going to cancel it, but I would have loved to see a transition into Burrow Roaches actually from Elazer if that's what he's going to end up doing. Lambo showing enough Roaches that Elazer perhaps won't suspect the Mutas, but there is regardless a Nidus for the Polish Zerg.
Yes, that Nidus, I like that. Whatever Elazer has read here, whether he's just like, okay, there has to be something else going on here. There isn't enough Roaches, there isn't enough drones like going to this third, but he sensed that there's some kind of weakness in Lambo's defenses, or his play rather. Now, Lambo, he doesn't really have too much gas or minerals to get like a real chunky amount of mutas out, and that Nidus is done very, very soon.
Yeah, and those Mutas defensively, they're not going to be enough, I think, to contend with the Roaches. The Roaches of Elazer are actually going to move out manually. Okay, never mind. They're going to be now loaded into the Nidus, and this is going to be a very strong attack hitting Lambo's front base very soon. How many queens do we have available is important. There is 5 on the side of Elazer. This is going to be very difficult to hold for the German Zerg.
Yeah, Lambo will have an upgrade advantage soon, but he's invested in getting +2 here. And I mean, the muta count, it's so minimal. This wall kind of works against him as well here, which that kind of sucks. Lambo has to worry about future Niduses popping up as well. The Lings at the third base take out quite a few of the drones here for Elazer as well. So Lambo, he's in a world of trouble against this.
Yeah, Elazer playing a brilliant game here, and I think he is gonna be able, most likely, to close it out already. 13 workers have fallen from Lambo at the third. Even if he is able to hold this barely, it will be a difficult position to play from, and Lambo realizes that as he has to GG. And yeah, I mean, that's the plan working out for Elazer.
That was really smart by Elazer. I don't know if, and I have to assume that he really, really studied Lambo's scouting patterns, because I know a lot of people might be like, that was luck that Lambo didn't have an Overlord there or whatever. That looks very well planned by Elazer on that map. So Lambo has to go into this series realizing, oh, like there was a gap there, you know, like I have to be very, very diligent about the weaknesses in my play, because Elazer plays this game a lot different to a lot of other Zergs. He isn't happy about necessarily just sitting back. Not because he can't, because mechanically he's very, very gifted, but he will look to execute any weakness in your play, and that is absolutely what he did right there.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier as well. In order to have a plan that you get to play out, you need to act first. And that is why Elazer is such an aggressive player, is because he is one of the very, very few super plan-oriented Zergs. So what Lambo, I think, needs to do in order to take the series or games away from Elazer is going to have to break somehow the patterns of Elazer, to act first, to force him to play his own game. But as it stands, I mean, these players know each other so well, and it was really showing. And it was Elazer to find the opening. He's going to continue to look for those openings, I can guarantee. And Lambo needs to be on the lookout for this type of aggression.
Yeah, I like what you say, like, but it's so difficult to break the mold, right? Like, if you are used to playing the game in a way and then it gets to play day, but, like, let's be real, Lambo should have, or Lambo will have thought of this, because knowing how Elazer plays, and Lambo, he's not been, what's the word? He's not been scared of throwing in weird builds into the mix. I remember, like, back on the Dreamcatcher days, it was where he made the creep highway against Serral, and that's how he actually took maps off Serral and stuff, with those kind of 2-basey Roach all-in builds. So he can absolutely bring it to Elazer. Whether he does or not, we'll see, because it is so much easier to come into a series prepared and making your opponent react to you than the other way around, because, you know, he's only got 2 maps left. He's only got 2 lifelines before he falls into that lower bracket.
Yeah. All right. Well, playing for AGO in the top left-hand side of the map, it is the Red Zerg player from Poland, Elazer.
And spawning over the bottom right-hand side, doing a cheeky 12 pull, it is Lambo.
Love it.
Okay, we talked about how maybe he has to be the one to kind of make Elazer go off the rails a bit, you know, because Elazer is a guy that likes to be on that train, but it, you know, it has to have nothing on the tracks, right? This is definitely throwing a big freaking tree on those train tracks.
Exactly, and this is, I think, where Lambo has to play. He has to play his opponent. Now, I think that Elazer tends to study Lambo more than Lambo tends to study Elazer, right? So by default, going into this matchup and the fact that we just found out that these were the players that were playing each other just a couple of days ago, I think that Elazer by default, just like you were talking about, yeah, Lambo can bring wacky stuff. Can he bring anything wacky that Elazer doesn't know about? Because they're basically best friends. They basically talk about everything, right? If Lambo's doing a strategy, then you can bet your ass that Elazer's probably doing something similar.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I'm looking for here is how do these Lings navigate the map? Because they're going to want to avoid getting Overlord scouted, right? For as long as possible? I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
but the distance is so important too, right?
Yes. I was just thinking, is there any way that you can... it's too hard to navigate, right? Like to kind of wait a moment there. I mean, timing is everything with this 12 pool. So, Elazer, I mean, this isn't a super duper fully committed. Like it's not no drone pull or anything like that, or making spine pullers. Wait, what's that drone doing?
It was trying to bait the Lynx to attack it so that the hatchery stands a greater chance. It did not work, but maybe it works often enough for him that he thought it was a good idea. All right, here's the real worker pull, and now Lambo has a decision to make. He's gonna turn around, but I love that he repositions and continues to attack the hatchery sometimes because it's gonna give signaling to Elazer that he should pull back. All right, Lambo already killing 3 workers. Can he get more? 6, 7 already going down. This is good enough.
This is good enough. Okay, so Lambo's actually taken the drone lead here. He's on 16 drones against 12 of Elazer. Elazer does have the advantage that he mined more gas with this, and obviously the hatch was up a little bit sooner, meaning he has more larvae. But for the time being, Lambo was definitely mining more than his opponent. Also, the lost mining time from the drone pull itself.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's see how this game progresses. One thing that I do not like from Elazer from this position, and again, maybe it's part of that thing that we were talking about, where when his plan is thrown out the window, right? He already has 76 gas. I mean, right now, he could be starting link speed. That is an advantage. That will get you map control. That'll get you the ability to poke in against an opponent that you know open gasless, right? So the fact that he's not taking that gas up until now, not continuing to saturate it in order to catch up economically, I'm not sure. It's kind of forfeiting one of the advantages that you were already kind of committed to somewhat, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I'm definitely with you. I'm definitely with you. I am not good enough as Zerg to say, oh, that is definitely what you should do or shouldn't do.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I definitely like to, in my own play, be like, okay, what is my strength already? It is that I've got a tech advantage. I'll settle on it because it's never nice playing the catch-up game. But maybe in Elazer's head, he didn't take too much damage, so he's like, okay, let's play the even game as opposed to setting myself behind economically, because then I'm forced to deal damage somewhere else, right? And I think realistically, given that Lambo hasn't gone for a third base and he's doing what he's doing, I actually think the call of getting your economy up and running is probably the better one.
Yep, ends up working perfectly, like you were saying. I mean, Lambo is now going to take a third as he scouts Elazer taking his own third. But yeah, Lambo is actually first to link speed, weirdly enough. So yeah, I'm completely with you, Ben. I think these two know each other so well that maybe Elazer accounts for that as well, right? Like the fact that Lambo's gonna play it safe from here, the fact that Lambo might be expecting something like the Link Flood, and Lambo kind of hurts himself in to some extent dropping the Roach Warren and the Evo Chamber as early as he did, but he's also so good that he doesn't like say fully well off or drop an extra Evo Chamber. He's still working with bare minimums, and oddly enough, he's gonna be the one to have speed first and have a shot at denying this third base from Elazer, and I don't think Elazer can do much about it, honestly. There's a Roach Warren not gonna be finished, and now Link Speed has kicked in. I'm surprised Lambo's not moving out yet.
So I'm starting to... Okay, Elazer droned up like a madman, by the way. He's on 50 drones against 33. He now knows that something is happening. Like, Lambo's up to no good, but he's got no units out in the field. I love that queen positioning. Oh, even making this Evo here. That is lovely by Elazer, but that is so many links that he has to deal with.
Yeah, and Lambo's just gonna recognize that there's not enough for Elazer. Gets a good surround onto the Lynx and the Queens. There are 4 roaches in production, but they have just started, Ben. And this is not looking good for Elazer, as Lambo somehow will get to Link Speed far sooner and will be able to take advantage of it. But hey, I'm not sure that was the right call. Very good defense, actually, for Elazer, all things considered.
All things considered, yeah, absolutely. And they've both gone for armor first, which to me implies that they want to make a lot of Ling Roach Ravager. and kind of both all in each other at different times. So all things said and done, Lambo is ahead now. His lair tech's a lot faster. The drone count is fairly similar between them. In fact, Lambo just got a little bit of a lead there. But yeah, Lambo's definitely ahead of this game now.
Yeah, but Elazer not dying straight away is, I mean, great news for him, right? Like, that Evo Chamber actually does a lot because it not only protects the queen, but also prevents the hatchery from getting fully surrounded. So it's harder to kill that third. I still think that Lambo could have taken that third. And while that may not be lights out directly, that would have been more or less a guaranteed victory if he manages to do that. Instead, he goes into the natural, identifies that maybe he can just end the game, but he can't. He couldn't. And now Elazer's still kind of in it.
Oh, I love the drone drilling from both these players. We've seen them both do it now, where they drone drill a little bit to get a surround on, and then actually attack move. But look at this. So Elazer, he's got no lair tech, right? So his roaches are going to move significantly slower, but he is making a lot of roaches, a lot of ravages. And Lambo, on the other hand, I don't think he necessarily knows what's coming, but he isn't droning up. He is respecting it, but he is supply blocked at a pretty pivotal moment.
Yeah, and yeah, he doesn't know what's going on, but he knows he's playing Elazer. We were talking about this, so it's right by him to make these units, but this supply block has been so painful, and Elazer's already at his doorstep. Will Lambo have enough? Roach speed barely not done. You would love to see it finished if you are Lambo. He still has a very sizable number of roaches. It's gonna be difficult for Elazer to engage onto a good concave, but Lambo not getting the best around that he can right off the bat. The links go after drones, which is a little bit strange of a call because if you're Elazer, I feel like you need to look for a kill here, and he's not going to be able to find it. Now Lambo's going to have a pretty good advantage having that tech lead. I would love to see a Spire drop, or just lean in heavy on those roaches and use your +1 for a timing.
Yeah, so he's actually going to have not only like roach speed, but he's going to have better upgraded roaches. He's actually so confident he's going up to 2+2 carapace as well, which is a very expensive upgrade. Elazer, though, he did make a call there. During the attack, he started droning immediately, knowing it's not really going to work out. So that was nice by him. And now he is going to take a slight economic lead here in this very odd ZVZ.
It is very odd indeed. I am surprised that Lambo's not moving out on the map. Simply, maybe he hasn't taken note that Elazer's attack was not one with roach speed, but there's nothing stopping the roaches of Lambo, who has very good Overlord vision out on the map anyway. So there's nothing stopping him from moving out on the map because he can always run back faster if he ever was to get caught. So I would love to see him apply some pressure or something of the likes. Ooh, nice try there.
Yeah, nice aim and nice jukes on that Overseer, so we will be getting a pretty full scout off. Elazer, for the first time in a long time, is actually supply blocked. He doesn't actually have enough Overlords here, and Lambo is going to be the one dealing damage by the looks of it, but nice little Zergling run by, but holy crap, that is a lot of roaches, and that is before roach speed is finished. But for the Polish player, Lambo with a hell of a lot of supply, but the juicy ravages at the front taking all the hits here. That might have been a slight mistake, but there might be just too much Lambo here.
Yeah, Lambo really has to pick a side here. He needs to choose where he's gonna take the fight. I think that he could have gone up that ramp and taken the fight with half of the army of Elazer. Now that's exactly what we're seeing here. He's moving towards a smaller clump of army, so that he fights less than the entire army at a time, and that's gonna yield the benefits of this attack as Lambo looks to be closing out this game.
He certainly does. He will be tying up the series here by the looks of it. The last roaches and the last ravages of Elazer are falling. 18 drones falling as well. Lambo just dancing around, sniping off units left, right, and center. Now he's left with a few more roaches, and GG is called. Lambo ties up the series here. And Elazer, you see that? He's kind of like huffing there, maybe feeling the pressure a little bit in this tight ZVZ series. Anyhow, guys, we'll be heading to a short break, and we'll resume right after.
1-1 is the score. We expected this series to be a close one. So far, it's proven to be true. Both players kind of punching back and forth here. Ben, it's an exciting one.
It definitely is. It's also lovely. It's lovely for us casters when we get stuff kind of right, you know? It's like Lambo, like we were talking about how Lambo can't necessarily just let Elazer be the one that dictates the pace of the series. And Lambo immediately opens up with a 12 pool, and it's like, okay, he feels exactly the same way. Can he go 12 pools every game of the series? Probably not. I mean, he could. Probably not, though. But I think that was a nice lesson for him and a nice way to get back into the series. Anyhow, spawning over in the top right-hand side of Jagannath, as Katz calls it, is Elazer.
But on left-hand side of Jagannath, as Ben now calls it, it is Lambo. Cool music.
Definitely got some
for the Dark Lord.
Yeah, definitely got some funk behind the man in the cave. I mean, you telling me that it's called that? In fact, that'd be such a sick troll, Cats. If you, like, this map name that nobody really knows how to say it, and then you're like, hey, Ben, it's this. I know it. I spoke to, like, whoever who named the map. And it's like, oh, okay. And I'm just so gullible and trusting. And then I find out that I'm actually saying, like, a flame in another, like, language that I have no idea about. But,
Ben, I don't think you need anyone's help to mess up map names. So trust me, this is the good ones.
No, I don't. I mean, I was calling Eternal Empire Eternal Palace. In fact, that's after I heard Rotterdam call it that, to be fair.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
You also had one for the Dream. You called it something
Ice
like...
and Dream.
Ice and Dream. Ice and Dream. That's one of my favorite ones. Oh,
I mean, it just sounds so happy.
Yeah.
All right. So this map, I'll call it. This map. Now, it's obviously very, very long. And we've seen a little bit of like Ling speed skipping quite a bit in ZVZ recently, but I don't think it's going to be done on this map, right?
No, I think it's unlikely. It is a very long map, so faster units will, yield benefits. Lynx are obviously the fastest unit alongside Mutas. So I would love to see one of these players go for Mutas, and I would love to see something like upgraded Lynx, though I don't know that either of them are known for upgraded Lynx styles like. But yeah, we got what we got, and it's just gonna be a couple of Zerglings being produced on the side of Elazer, whereas Lambo has not produced any Zerglings, so cutting a few corners himself. He's gonna be taking a third slightly earlier as a result. No, it's actually Elazer.
Yeah, it was so Lambo produced them earlier. It was Elazer kind of being like, okay, I'm gonna produce them slightly later here, kind of to play the denier of scouting info by the looks of it. But Baneling Nest going down in the exact same location, so both of them at the front of the natural, just to help act as a little bit of a wall, if needs be later on. But thirds go down, so far a very, very mirrored and standard ZVZ between these guys.
Yes, indeed. And there's another approach that might be what Lambo is going for here as far as the playstyle of Elazer, which is just to be very diligent with his scouting and figure out exactly what attack Elazer is planning, because there's going to be a timing on the side of the Polish Zerg, you know it. Just got to figure out what it is, as he is one of the sneakier Zergs out there.
Elazer, you mean?
Yeah.
He is. He's one of the Zergs that still utilizes a lot of Niduses. Like, if he sees something, he'll just Nidus you, and it's like, very decisive with it too. Like, no regrets truly is a lifestyle that Elazer chooses to live by.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes I see stuff from Elazer and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that worked. But I mean, he just has more units than most people because he will believe in his attack through and through. You were talking about an anime. I find Elazer is a little bit like Rock Lee, if you're familiar with and Lambo's maybe Neji, if you're familiar with Naruto.
Absolutely not.
What is a cool anime that you were referring to then, Ben?
I was just appealing to all my weebs out there, you know. What can I say?
So there's no cool anime, is what you're saying.
I'll be honest. I watched Attack on Titan, like a bit of it, and I thought it was really cool. But Cats, I'm gonna have a kid soon and stuff. Like, I got a busy life, Oh, that was a lovely Baneling.
Very lovely bailing, and that's gonna free up the links from Lambo to stay out on the other side of the map, whereas before they would have had to pull back. So now he can apply some pressure and also get some information. He's gonna see the roaches from Elazer as he makes a lot of his own roaches. And after seeing the roaches of Elazer, he's gonna say, okay, you're gonna be safe, Miko. I'm gonna go ahead and drone up like a madman.
Yeah, and you know what we talked about earlier about Lambo has to just be diligent and like drone counting and stuff. I love the fact that he's got the lings left over, right? Because he didn't lose all his lings to a Baneling that was amazing. So we can just keep on poking in, counting the drones at the third base, and actually moving across the map, kind of faking that he's doing attack almost.
This has to be a fake, Ben. I mean, this is the Neji move, right? Like, and this is perfect because it's going to force a couple of units out of Elazer, who's continuing to make roaches nonstop, whereas Lambo is taking up and making a few more drones. Now 9 workers on the side of Elazer, but he's falling a little bit behind in that regard, right? He's already 8 workers behind. So Lambo has taken a pretty sizable lead here as Elazer's army is bigger, but not big enough to really, attack with.
It's enough to scare your opponent and keep them honest, I do suppose, though. He did scout the lair just then as well, getting a ling in, so both of them are doing very good on the scouting front. And if we're very honest about the situations, this map is huge. So I do feel that like the magic drone number might be 66 in this regard, and then you can start headbutting against one another. Lambo does start his roach speed a lot earlier than Elazer will, though, given that his lair was so much faster.
Yeah, Lambo also calling the bluff of Elazer. As Elazer moves out with a slightly larger army, Lambo says, okay, I'm just going to drone up anyway, which is just a wonderful, very difficult to make call. So this fake move out by Elazer did not pay out. The fake move out by Lambo did pay out a little bit more. And yeah, I think Lambo is in a decent position, though no major advantages have been taken. Everything has kind of been going his way just here and there a little bit.
Look at this production tab, by the way, Cats. They both start Aspire almost the same time exactly. So they are absolutely mirror images of one another right now. Both scouting very well, both getting upgrades. Elazer's actually got a bit of a drone lead here while getting up his 4th base, but can't put it to much effect just yet. And look at the 4th hatcheries, too. They're both within like 5-10 seconds of one another. So a very close game we have on our hands between these two players.
Yeah, most definitely. Only small advantages taken here and there, but it's all going to come down to the later stages. It's going to come down to these Muta. Neither player really looking to perhaps end the game with roaches. That's what the Spire says. It's a lot of gas spent elsewhere. That's going to be less Ravagers or less roaches or less upgrades or whatever. So I think that this is going to be an air fight where both players are going to have a difficult time of judging who has more gas to begin with. Lambo with a good scout here is going to count things. He's going to see that the Spire is nearly done and that he knows that his Spire is also nearly done. And look at that. He starts Zerglings. Zerglings obviously don't cost gas. So he's trying to maybe make Elazer here waste more gas on things like roaches, and it's going to be successful as Elazer does make some roaches while Lambo goes for the Corruptors. Very interesting choice.
Okay, this is where I was like super wondering about it, because if you scout your opponent's Spire, I'm just going to check Elazer's vision. He doesn't know about the Spire at all yet. So he's going to be running, well, he's very soon maxed out, so maybe he's just planning on a massive timing here, but which could be pretty damn strong. But yeah, I was really wondering about Lambo's move. By the way, Lambo's like 40 supply behind right now, and I know that he's got Corruptors out, which are very good against the Mutas, but I am a little bit scared for him if Elazer does choose to move across the map, and I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't done yet.
Yeah, the ground is the scary bit, and I am with you, Ben. I think if you're maxed and you have this sort of army, then it's a good time to move out. Elazer didn't make too many Mutas, so actually Lambo's got overkill as far as the Corruptors. He's going to have to chase the Mutas of Elazer back and then go and kill a hatchery or something like that with this corrosive, with the caustic spray of the Corruptors. Otherwise, he's just going to have kind of useless units out in the air after they manage to clear the Muta. Sure, the Mutas can't really... Oh, this is a great move, though.
This is a great move. 3 drones do fall along with the Queen, so slowing down the lava injects. Lambo sees this massive roach army moving out across the map, but I love Lambo's positioning. Elazer moving into the biles here. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of red Zerg, and he's just marching down, sniping the Ravagers as they come. And now Lambo is forced into this position. He's trying to defend his natural. Oh my goodness, so many Banelings just rolling in here and getting big connections, going for the drones as well in the natural.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for Elazer. You were prefacing this very move, Ben. It's the scary part is you make Corruptor. Sure, you deal with a Muta, but Elazer didn't actually commit. So those Corruptors are doing what they can. They're going to take a couple of bases on the other side, but can you ever stop this? I don't know. Lambo's making roaches. It's not looking too hot for the German.
That being said, Elazer can't reinforce. I know he's ahead in supply, and I know he's winning this game, but if this game does go on, and Elazer's losing all his Overlords to all his Corruptors, but I don't think he can hold on. I think there's just too much Elazer. Oh my goodness. He's corrosive spraying down his main base as well after taking down 3 of the hatcheries now. If Lambo can survive, he can be in this game, but I think there's just too much of the pole.
Yeah, I almost wish that Lambo had started making Muta. He did such a great job with the Corruptors there, right? Like not using all of the Corruptors to take down one hatchery, but actually using like half on one hatchery, half on the other hatchery, because he knows there's no way that Elazer can contest it. So good job by Lambo there, but I mean, the decision to make the Corruptors in the first place against an army that was massive on the ground is what ended up costing him the game. He was maybe too ahead of himself, right? Anticipating the Muta switch.
Yeah, it also felt like Elazer hitting 200 supply before Lambo really got up like to 160. Elazer obviously macro beautifully, and I think he had in mind that he wanted to go for an attack when he did. And again, we have Lambo being more in the know. He scouted the Spire, so he's like, okay, I'm going to react to this. I'm going to counter it beautifully with Corruptors. But Elazer just didn't really give a damn and just went for his attack anyhow. And that's so frustrating for Lambo. Like, it's so frustrating. He's potentially scouting better in these games, but it's almost biting him in the butt because he's having to react again and again.
That's exactly what happened. If Lambo had made Mutas, if Lambo had not scouted, then it's a mirrored game with Lambo maybe with a slight little lead off of the early game, right? But after scouting, he thinks, okay, make your Mutas. My Corruptors are going to trade much more efficiently. And Corruptors do cost 50 more minerals per Corruptor for the same supply. So that's also part of why you see that supply differential is Lambo committed so much to those very, very expensive units, whereas Elazer was maxed on cheaper units like the Roaches. And I'm with you. Lambo had great positioning to start off the fight. He also had 4 Ravagers, though they were not at the back, unfortunately for him. And he almost looked like he was holding, but Elazer, when he's going, he's going.
He very much is a wrecking ball of a Zerg player. Like, I really felt this. Like, you've got a lot of new Zergs. I'll name a Zerg like Vanya. He also is very timing attack orientated, but isn't quite as refined as Elazer yet when it comes down to it. And Elazer, he's almost like that big buff guy that you punch him in the face, he doesn't react kind of thing. He will just do what he wants to do anyway. Yeah. And I saw Lambo after that game. He kind of like, you know how we click rewind at the end of the game, we see the situation. He was just kind of like muttering to himself. So yeah, he must be a little bit peeved with how that game went, because it should have been his, man. It should have been his.
Yeah, single G as well. So definitely a little bit of frustration there. I think he expected the Muta switch from Elazer for sure, right? And he had the right counter had that happened. Was there a Muta switch? Kind of. But it was more like Elazer was always planning for the ground. And in the bottom left-hand side, it is the German Zerg player now trailing a game, Lambo.
And spawning over in the top right-hand side, playing for Team Ago, it is Elazer.
Another large map then with a very wide open third. So if there is going to be a map for many links, I think, and upgrades, this would be it. But again, not sure that either of these players are comfortable with those playstyles. So we'll see what they choose to bring. For the moment, mirrored. And Lambo's going to have to do something different, but I don't know what. He had the information. It's just like he minding himself a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's really difficult because even though we are talking about Lambo, scouting very well and stuff, Elazer's also scouting a lot. Like, the only thing that he didn't see that game was pretty much the Spire. And he's doing a lot of things that make you very uncomfortable. And I guess he's also playing to his reputation a little bit, right? In that Elazer is going to kill you. Something's going to happen. And the thing is, nothing came for such a long time. It was almost like the one moment that Lambo did do something where it's like, okay, I got the Corruptors for those Mutas that are coming, that I know are coming. And it's like 7 Mutas show up and it's like, oh, damn, I overinvested. And then the big attack does come. So I do think Elazer is being quite smart about how he's actually handling the series, but more importantly, handling Lambo.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll see if the German has something to say about that, Ben. This game is pretty much mirrored as well, at least for the time being. We see 2 Zerglings in production on the side of Lambo, again, being a little bit more diligent with his scouting, whereas Elazer once again delaying it in favor of just getting an extra drone a little bit earlier here and there. So, gonna take a tiny lead.
If I was in a ZVZ with Elazer and I saw him doing these cheeky little things, you know, where he's like skipping the first lings or what have you, and then I go back in my brain and it's like, oh, well, that, you know, that 12 pool worked out that one game. I'd be thinking about all these cheeky, cheesy things that you can do. But the thing is, it's not as if skipping that is like a death sentence. Oh, wow. Early lair from Elazer.
Yeah, this is looking like a Muta build. And the cool thing about this map is that there's a ramp and a choke leading up the high ground. So basically, Elazer is going to try to defend here with the bare minimum. Lambo already investing into a Baneling nest, and he's surely going to have a little bit of a lead. But Elazer can just wall off the front with 3 buildings very easily. He's probably just going to use the 2 and the queens for the time being. And then if need be, he can finish that wall off while going for a very, very fast fire.
Yeah, I do or like that. I like it.
I mean, he hasn't taken more gases, so this might be a Nidus again or something else.
2 base Nidus would be crazy, right? Do you think it is going to be? Oh, now he's going up to 4 gases.
Okay. Yeah, this looks like Muta a little bit more now. He already has the gas for the Spire, so yeah, he's just playing it safe and making sure that he has all the drones in place. This is going to be a powerful 2-base Spire with a hell of an economy behind it. And yeah, look at this. It's just bare minimum. And again, this map, perfect for it because there's a little choke and the ramp leading to the natural. No one wants to attack on this map.
Nobody does at all. Like, not only is it huge, but yeah, you talked about it, that ramp, that choke at the natural. And it's very hard to get scouting information if you are Lambo. So what's he doing on his side of the map? He's actually going to be getting 2 extra gases here. I like that. He's focusing on droning up a lot because he realizes, hey, I mean, I can't scout with anything. I just have to play pretty safe here, I suppose. And by safe, I mean you have to drone up quite a lot, and you have to keep on like poking up at the top there just to see if there's any roaches being made, because you could potentially get Nidus and stuff. Elazer does make these games very difficult for his opponent.
Yeah, most definitely. The thing that Lambo will have taken note of by those pokes as well is the fact that those Evo chambers are not researching, so very unlikely to be roaches. And this is a build that Lambo has gone on or has gone for himself in Golden Wall. This is a build that he liked a lot, that he used often, so he's going to be aware of exactly what's coming. It's just an issue of how will he react, as Elazer has incredibly fast Mutalisks already in production and there's no spores going up yet.
What's also crazy is Elazer's only getting Ling speed now. In fact, do you think this is going to be like a big timing with a lot of Lings and Mutas?
Yep. And Lambo knows it. I mean, he's morphing Banelings. He has scouted a Roach Warren. He has scouted no Ling speed, but he's ready with the Banelings. He's very well aware of what this build is. Will he have enough defensively against the Muta? That's the scary bit.
Okay. Okay, if you're Elazer, do you actually go about cleaning up all the overlords on the map first, or do you go for some damage? I kind of like this overlord play, actually, given that he doesn't have necessarily a ton to deal with, like, queens and spores in the right locations.
Yeah, it's good to take map control. It's good to supply block your opponent and just kind of take the safe route. This is the safe play. It's like, okay, my Muta were unspotted. With that, I'm going to take my 3rd, and I feel pretty good. And Lambo's going to have to invest, but you don't know whether there's already spores or not on the other side of the map. So if you just cross, then it kind of feels bad having to go back for those overlords. One thing that I do like to do sometimes is if you spot an overlord further out in the map, you go for that one first and then track the rest back, because that one's the one that's going to have an easiest time escaping. But this is good for Elazer. I mean, both players, I think, well aware of what the other is and can do, and it's going to be a game that develops from here pretty evenly.
Yeah, like this is a very textbook of like 2-base Muta against like 3-base play, right? So now Elazer definitely has some map control. One thing that he has to make sure of is there a Nidus going down, because that's one thing that, you know, could definitely bite him in the bum. But we see that Lambo's gone for a very different tech route here. He's going for Infestors, which fungal growth on all these Mutas could be very, very nice. But I feel that Elazer's position is so much more fluid and so much nicer to work with.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way when you are the player with the Muta. The problem is the Muta don't scale too well. So if Lambo can get comfortably to a number of units that he is good to move out with before Elazer can do something like a lurker switch, it's very difficult for Elazer to engage with just Muta plus whatever else, because it's a lot of supply wasted on units that are not going to trade efficiently against, say, Infestors and or Hydras. So yeah, Lambo is going for Infestors, kind of just one at a time, very efficiently, very diligently, and I think we're going to see a strong timing from him with Infestor, Roach, and Hydra, and Elazer needs a little bit more from this Muta.
So, okay, the lurkers are the tech of choice for Lambo, and I do like that. Because Elazer, even though he has a healthy amount of Muta, he is going into a lot of roaches. And in fact, he's had a higher drone count than Lambo for quite some time as well. So he bought himself a lot of space with these Mutas just to kind of eke out a little bit of an economic advantage.
Yes, indeed. Lambo now on the other side of the map. He's not going to be able to find much, but these links are mainly just to scout. He's going to want to see if there is something like a hive on the way, if there is a lurker then on the way. He's not going to spot any of that. Oh, and Elazer actually very adventurous on the other side of the map. The fungal is actually going to work out pretty well against his roaches, but at the same time, that frees up the Muta to kind of poke now that they know that there's no fungal to catch him.
No, it's only 2 Infestors on the field, right? It is. So all the fungals used defensively against the roaches. Elazer behind all this, he's got a 4th base up and running. He's going to have pretty decent upgrades on the way as well with the 2-1 approaching. Lambo is currently ahead with 1-1 done. But Elazer, I mean, I kind of like the position he's finding himself in again and again.
Yeah, and Lambo a little bit spreading himself thin. I'm not sure. It's very difficult because I think that he had a timing, right? But instead, usually you either go for Infestors or for Lurkers, because they both counter the Banelings, which is what you want to counter if you want to move out with Hydras. But Lambo is kind of doing both. So it's kind of like he's spreading himself a little thin. Okay, the Lurker then will be taken down. That might be a blessing in disguise, though Lambo does make 1 Lurker before doing anything else. The problem for him is he's going to have maybe 2 fungals to move out with. He has to, at this point, make a lot of Hydras, I think, and just try to move out and try to kill at least a base for Elazer once he gets maxed. Because, yeah, this is looking better and better for the Polish Zerg. And if he looks to trade, it's going to be increasingly hard. But that 1 Lurker actually anchoring things nicely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fight against 1 Lurker if you don't have detection. First and foremost, it's just going to gradually grind down all those roaches, and it does so much damage to the roaches. Lambo is holding on to his 3-base situation, and he is regaining or retaking his Lurker Den. Elazer's now starting up his own Hydralisk tech choices here. The main thing is these Mutas, they've kind of done what they can get done in this game, which actually isn't a ton, but Elazer kind of pulled him out of position here. His 3rd base is very exposed.
Yeah, there is the 1 Lurker that Lambo's microing like a madman. And actually, these fungals are going to be really good. And with this, Lambo's going to push on forward. The Hydra's outputting a lot of damage as well. These are good trades for Lambo, but they're not bad trades per se for Elazer. Yes, he's trading inefficiently, but he can afford to do that. He has a much better economy.
He certainly does. He certainly does. He's been ahead at like 13 or so drones for the last few minutes. Lambo does kind of realize that he needs to step up his economy. Oh my god, the Hydra's the kind of call out here. The Infestor goes down with all the energy as well. This could be so bad for the German player.
Yeah, this looks really, really rough. Sure, he might be able to clean this out, but he's gonna lose that next attempt at his 4th, and I think Elazer has done it, Ben. It's not even gonna matter, and even if Lambo was able to clean this out, Elazer would still be in a phenomenal position. The Polish Zerg has done it. He's won the series 3-1, and yeah, I mean, it's good for him moving on forward to try and make it back into Katowice. It's gonna be extremely important in his home country. Lambo doing whatever he can, but this game is all said and done, Ben. Ben.
All said and stunned it is, Cats. And Elazer with good supply. You know, Lambo does GG out, and Elazer takes a pretty convincing 3-1.